I want to know what you're thinking this morning. Yesterday, we are told that the drivers suspended their demonstration, or their sit-down demonstration, or strike, if you will not, sit-down strike, indicating to government clearly, in no uncertain terms, that it needed to reduce the prices of fuel. Well, it appears government has listened to their demands and has intimated that it would do something about it. As a matter of fact, this morning we're learning that GOIL has reduced their fuel price, but I think, is it 9 pesos or 95 pesos or 19 pesos? One of them, I've forgotten the exact figure. 19 pesos, yes. Yeah, 19 pesos. 19 pesos per liter, yes. It's 19 pesos per liter. I don't know what that is going to do for the people who regularly consume, fuel and its allied products. I don't know what it's going to do for them. I don't know what it means for the driver. I don't know whether or not it's going to reduce the burden of the average driver in Ghana. However, government has done that. Well, do you also think that perhaps you could have done something better relative to same, as opposed to just reducing it by 19 pesos and things like that? I mean, all of that, right? Dr. Benedicta is here seated. Good morning to you, Doc. I trust you are well. Yeah, fine. Fantastic.
How are you too?
We can't complain. We can't complain. We have life.
Yes, that's the most important.
Yeah. Bless Headman Alomaso is also here. Bless is a colleague, and he sometimes sits in for me when I'm unavailable. Good morning, Bless.
Good morning.
I trust you well. We're waiting for Aja Amdatu. Bless just sitting in time being. When the other panelists show up, then he can respectfully exit. Now, let's kickstart the conversation with an African story. 12. I thought we were going to talk about the Gambian elections. I think that's a small current. Yeah, I think so. Oh, well, 12 soldiers, dozens of terrorists killed in Niger attack. At least 12 soldiers and dozens of terrorists have been killed in a battle in western Niger's conflict-racked Three Borders zone. The Defense Ministry announced in a statement on Sunday that another 8 soldiers were wounded in the clash with hundreds of armed terrorists 5 kilometers, that's 3 miles from Fantio. It added that several motorcycles used by the attackers were destroyed and communications equipment recovered. Fantio is a small rural community in the Terra district of the Tilaberi region and is regularly targeted by armed groups affiliated with Al Qaeda or ISIL. Bless Headman Alomaso.
Yes, sir.
Let me start with you.
Well, a hearty good morning to the people at home watching Pan-African TV. And I know that we spread our tentacles across some 46 other African states. And I think the messages we receive on a daily indicates that people watch us all across the world, from New Jersey, New York, every nook and cranny in the world. And we are big out there, so hearty good morning to you all. Okay. And let's zoom into the situation in Niger. If you'd read the story a bit further, you'd realize that Niger, they are ranked the poorest country in the world according to development index, and to have been hit with such a situation where terrorist attacks is so rife there is very, very disturbing. I think somewhere in November of this year, so 18 people died as a result of these same terrorist attacks. I realize that it is very, very much pervasive over there, and the links with ISIS and Al Qaeda. You'd realize carefully that these ISIS and co, they are able to target these countries as a result of the fact that there are so many things that people there want that the government does not provide. Let me borrow the words of one of our panelists who always come on the show. There's it's all the time. If the economy there was health, or we wouldn't have a situation. Give them information about, you understand, simply because that there are bread and butter issues over there. You understand? It's like I earlier intimated, very, very disturbing issue. We would have to come together as a people, as the African continent. The AU, for me, they are more reactive rather than proactive. We sit down all the time and talk about these issues. When we come on air all the time, it's either terrorist attacks in Sudan, in Niger, and there's even a link to Boko Haram, even in Niger. You understand? So it's high time we became more proactive rather than just, okay, let it happen and then let us find a solution, rather than trying to block, the sources of these attacks.
Right. Thank you, Bless. Clearly, Nigeria is in dire strait by reason of some of these insurgencies. Question is, how do we surmount this particular problem? And I think we've been over asking this question. It appears that the more we ask the question, the more they are angered by the questions that we ask relative to your actions in that region. Doc, again, I will ask, how do we deal with some of these insurgencies, particularly because of, whether we like it or not, the unending economic labyrinth which has characterized, the governance activities or the political architecture of such countries. There's a long and ending economic labyrinth which the people always have to deal with. And like Bless rightly intimated, it appears that is the springboard, that if you will catapult what's it called, the activities of the Boko Haram and all these Al Qaeda people and all the other so-called Islamists who are related to the operations of Al Qaeda and ISIL and all of that. How do we deal with these matters going forward?
Okay, good morning once again, and to our cherished viewers. My people in Central Tongue, I salute you this morning. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that we are seeing these happenings over and over again. But the bottom line of all this happening, as we know, is more or less tied to the economic situation of a given country. Why do people take arms or ammunition going around, inflicting pains or killing individuals? There are a number of factors, and one of it had to do with a situation where people feel that they do not get, or they are not getting the share of the national cake. So it has to do with economic crisis, when there's lack of jobs, especially for the youth. That's happening when, again, we see our government, spending money so much on themselves at the expense of the people. When we have more or less some form of bad governance, then we see some of these happenings. So as Bless said, there is a lot that EU has to, have to do as far as Boko Haram, as the activities of ISIS is concerned. And that is where we talk about they having meetings and also supporting each other as far as economic policies are concerned, as far as good governance are concerned. These issues of Boko Haram, ISIS, and terrorist attack, we have seen them in countries even close to Ghana.
Yeah.
We've seen activities of Boko Haram in Nigeria, in Mali, and so on and so forth. So the fundamental reason or the base for these had to do with issues of economic, issues of unemployment, issues of people feeling that some minority or some few are taking what population of we think belong to us. So that's where you see a couple of these violence perpetrated. So as I said, it's not enough to just have a body like AU, paying attention to some of these things. They should not be proactive, as Bless said. they should not be reactive but proactive. They should be able to correct each other when they think that something is not going right. It should not be as usual, maybe do you fear some or that kind of thing. But again, we know that if there is violence in one country, there's a spillover to neighboring countries.
Absolutely.
And so it is in the benefit of the entire continent that every country, have peace and tranquility in their various jurisdictions. And so there's a need for leadership as far as AU is concerned to also have talks, to also share ideas, especially when it comes to economic policies, so as to help countries, especially that are, listed as poor income countries, to help to boost their economy. Sometimes some policies are not necessarily in the interest of a given country. Let's take this issue of tax exemption. Taking Ghana as an example, there are billion multi-dollar companies, and these companies are exempted from paying some taxes, or they are exempted from some taxes. And then our government come back and tell us that we are broke, we need to raise funds. So what happened to these multi-billion companies that have been exempted from these taxes? You can imagine the amount of money or revenue the government will generate if some of these monies are collected. And by the way, you ask yourself, what is the reason, behind exempting some of these companies from paying taxes? If it is about the fact that they are coming to, of course, invest and also help in job creation, we should also bear in mind that most of the money that they make, they send back this money to their various countries. So what is in there for us? So policies are very important when it comes to economic, of course, drive of a given country. And that is why I said most of our leaders travel to other parts of the world, especially the developed world. They interact with leaders of the, and sometimes would expect that they should be asking this country, how did you do it? Take, for example, a country like Malaysia. How did they do it? China, how did they get here? China now becoming, a superpower. How did they do it? These are things that we expect our leaders to, ask these people, to learn from them how they have been able to turn their economic or their country round, instead of just, look like the very few people are enjoying so much while the masses suffer. And that is the root cause of this Boko Haram, ISIS, and terrorist activity in our country. And I think that as Africans, we should all be worried, because once this is happening in one country, it will spill over to another country, and Ghana is not exempted.
All right, thank you. Adia, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, how are you? This morning you don't look too well.
The traffic was too much.
Oh, so it was good that guys were on strike, eh? The truck people were on strike. I mean, yeah.
Some people also complain about traffic yesterday. I don't know.
Yesterday there was a little bit of traffic. I don't know why.
Demonstration.
Oh, there was a demonstration yesterday?
Yes, I think some parts of my crowd, some truck drivers.
Was it a demonstration or distraction of traffic?
They were blocking the roads.
Blocking the roads.
Yeah, they were blocking. I think the government, the Ministry of Transport had deployed some 110 Ayalulu buses to help with the situation.
So they even police.
And they didn't want it,
But you see, I know that sometimes when I say these things, I get hanged for it. But this was a better opportunity for government to introduce and make buses.
Yes.
Because these guys are, to be honest with you, the way they even drive on our roads.
No, I mean,
they are complete
even they were even doing it when we were coming.
And nobody missed them. I didn't miss them.
That is also not a solution to a problem.
Let me tell you something.
That is also not a solution.
No, we travel.
To a problem.
You see, you said, how did Malaysia do it?
The transportation system.
In your analysis, you said, how did China do it? Do you think that in China they have truck buses parking anywhere?
Discipline.
Yeah, but
and picking people?
So that is where policy comes in.
Yeah, but the policy is, and I think should have been,
yes,
that once people have decided to embark on a strike, no problem.
Yeah,
these drivers, you see, your issue is about employment. These drivers could be trained.
Exactly.
And then employed to use the Ayalolo buses. If they were using Ayalolo buses, there wouldn't be so much chaos on our roads, particularly because they would have roads that demarcated or dedicated to them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This morning, somebody nearly scratched my car.
So policy is very important. If you are talking about sustainable transport system,
look,
we have to.
We are for the masses. You see, we are for the masses. We think about the working class and things like that. But the working class must also be very disciplined.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You cannot be indisciplined and ask for help. You cannot.
Kwame, as I was coming,
Ajia,
some four-wheel drive. I didn't give him the chance.
What you do? Me, I don't give them. I don't give them.
The one we got to this traffic light, the Achimota one, the Melcom, that collapsed.
Yes.
Then the police was telling them, the one in front of me, to give him. When I asked the police why? Oh, why did they do? Missy, why did they discipline? No.
Exactly.
Missy, me come baby my age.
Exactly. No, the discipline in this country. No, you see, our understanding of what democracy is our ability to be disciplined.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Kwame, good morning.
That we are allowed to be disciplined on our roads. We're very disciplined. You go about insulting leaders on TV and you think that there are no consequences. Ajia, let me come to you.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Good morning to you, and then good morning to Doc. Good to see you today too. Bless. Today we are coming to bless you. Mashallah. And good morning to the good people of Pabenya. We have a very big mosque there in Makaranta. May Allah bless those leadership who are giving us quality leadership. And we are totally supporting them to do the right thing. And I would like to say a very good morning to the good people of Bolga. You know, we lost our Imam. This Sunday is the 40th day Adwa.
May God grant
so
him joy.
all roads leads to Bolga. The movers and shakers in the country should be there because he's the chief Imam of the Upper East. Imam Yusufu, may your soul continue to be in perfect peace. And the acting Imam, Malan Tairu. And of course, we, at a point in time, we've been Imam in Da and then Naim. And I'm praying and hoping that the Naiminchi will come to our gates peacefully, inshallah. Sheikh Yusuf, salam alaikum. You see, what we discuss about Africa? Oh, but we've talked about Africa too much and the leadership, the way they behave. You see, but if there's no job, doesn't mean that you should take to arms. Because those they are killing are not the leadership that they are killing. It's the people who are suffering with them are the people that are being attacked. So to me, it doesn't make sense. We know there's problem. There's unemployment. People up there are chopping and the downtrodden are suffering. But the Boko Haram, ISIS, or is it ISIS?
ISIS, ISIL.
And all of them, they are not attacking the leadership, but the innocent people along the line that they are operating. So to me, it doesn't add up.
They're not men.
It doesn't add up. Somebody say Boko Haram. Book means book, haram. But meanwhile, those who claim to be fighting for religion, some of them corner them, they can't recite the first chapter of the Holy Quran. I'm telling you, they're just doing that to spoil the name of the religion. Because Islam means peace. So even if you are having challenges with your brother, does that mean that you should cut off their legs, neck, hands, and so on and so forth, and killing other religion?
I think it's about cash.
You see, even do you know why this Boko Haram and ISIS thing is not dying? Because even leadership are involved.
Of course.
They are involved.
It's about economic interest.
Because some people are importing the ammunitions, and then getting. How can a woman in northern Nigeria, between Kaduna and some place land, was arrested with AK-47? Not just one, and ammunitions, bullets, going to give to the people destabilizing the Nigerian economy. Can you imagine? What's the rationale behind? What's the motivation? Is it money? Me, if you can give me, if there's trillion or zillion, come and put it on my head like this and say, plant a bomb here. I won't do it because I have conscience. So I think leadership, our Islamic clergy, our pastors, imam, everybody should be speaking against this canker. is barbaric. It's not religious. They are murderers.
I like that.
They are murderers. And when they are arrested, they should be dealt with like criminals. There's nothing like, Islamic fundamentalists, Boko Haram, tarnishing the image of the religion. If a Muslim should go and attack, they say terrorists. But if a non-Muslim, they say, gun attack. It's true. That's what is happening. So let's call a spade a spade. What is wrong is wrong. If somebody should do something wrong, and then I've been saying AU, what's the other one? ECOWAS. You see, I don't know the kind of approach they normally adopt to deal with certain things. It's just like a child. When you are teaching a child, Prof is she is lecturing, maybe she is teaching advanced people, so maybe she will not encounter that kind of thing. Those of us who were teaching kids, like kindergarten, I'm telling you, there's a child, you see the person is very dull. You might think that shouting and yelling will correct the child. It is not true. The child wants to be given, this ball, go to the corner, you go and be playing. When he or she sees that the other children are writing, they are busy, then maybe you bring some candies in this class. Hey, this person writes a clap. Next time, that person will easily come and join. So some people need some cohesion, some maybe motive, and some too, the will solve the problem. So what are we not doing right as African leaders to make sure? Why the ammunition, is it not our borders and airports that we allow them to pass? What are they doing? You said something which is very profound. People are interested in money more than the lives of people, which is very, very wrong. We must stop that. Right. Money, you leave it. If money can buy the soul of somebody dying, Dangote's brother wouldn't have died. So you should know that at a point in time, money cannot do anything. The zeal for money, I read. It's too much in Africa, too much. At times I sit and then ask myself, video. I say, hey, so are we really serious?
No, we are not.
Why? Me, I am a Muslim. Prof, the way you know me today, if I'm gone tomorrow, you come and meet my dead body. I'm gone. 6 hours, they can't delay. It's even known that because of politics, they are even allow people to go and look at you. No, it's not allowed in Islam. It's not. As soon as you are dead, nobody comes around apart from your close family. They will prepare you and everything and cover you before even. Now you see that they will cover the person and they will say people should come and stand there and pray. Women will enter, men with somebody without al-wala will enter, and it is not allowed. But we've put everything politics. Even if I'm there to die today, you see the Kwame will say, no, she's been coming to my show, I want to see her face. And then they will allow. But it's not allowed in Islam. So you should know that death is inevitable. We have to be very, very careful. The way we treat our fellow friends, the way we lie about people, the way we cheat, our greed. We should think about that. It's very, very painful that in Africa, we are sitting on money, but we are hungry. We are referred as the poor continent. How? When we have Congo, DR Congo, look at the River Nile, look at the mineral resources in Africa. We have about more than 60% of the natural resources is in the African continent. And we are building the economy of other people. We still go there to beg for loan with some interest that our great grandchildren cannot even come and pay the loans. Why? Are we not thinking? Why? What do we want? How did Malaysia do it? How did this? Look at Dubai. 50 years ago.
50 years ago. Just
50 years ago. That is leadership. You can say that maybe they because it's a monarchy, there's no democracy, but there's improvement.
But
health, school, whatever.
Adia, what is democracy?
What is democracy? No, democracy in Africa is creating, looting, and sharing among the elites.
Because I see
that is democracy.
I see democracy as that which works in the interest of the people.
But not in Africa.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Not in Africa.
That's how because you see,
we
must not box ourselves into this theoretical understanding or definitions of what democracy is or ought to be or should be by the standards given to us by the Western world. You know what I'm saying? I mean, democracy is what should work for us.
In fact, it's painful, Kwame. Kwame, to be honest,
But the question is that my point is, if they changed the constitution and that change benefits the people, do you understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't have a problem. Every time I say this, that I don't care who leads me. I don't care the number of years.
The development and progress.
If people are making money, if the system is such that everybody is able to benefit, do you understand what I'm saying?
Why not?
If the system is such that the poor woman's son will not be deprived of education, that the person who sells in Makola will close knowing that at least they've been able to earn an income. Like the farmer somewhere knows that when he's 60 and is unable to farm, there is some health or insurance benefit that awaits him. Why should I have a problem?
The reality is that normally it's the masses that will agitate for a change in the constitution. But if something had to change and leadership is playing that role, most often it's to the benefit of a few people.
Absolutely, and that's what we are condemning right now, and that is the beginning of all of these insurgencies. And I see, Elijah made a very profound statement that the people who are being attacked are nowhere near power. There's no nexus between the people and power.
That is the reality.
Ones being killed. Already they are suffering. You know, all of these economic hardships and things like that. They're having to go through all of that. And then somehow these people say we are upset with government, we are and then they are killing the very people who are suffering. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
It really doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but that's the reality.
Anyway, and see if we can. There's Hamdad to Haruna Ibrahim. He gives you a heart, fire, and check on Facebook. Raf says, "Hey, these are our leaders." And then Mariam Muhammad says, "Haji, I'm proud of you. God bless you." Awuni Samuel, well, I think responded to someone. Calvary Love says, 1 year in the controversial win by the mother serpent of corruption, the country has gone from west to west. I think I posed the question. Hi, good morning, Kyode. I'm watching you live from Hillsborough, New Jersey.
He's always watching.
I love him. Ibrahim Boss.
He's always watching.
Thank you. Don't just watch, share, so others can also get the opportunity to watch.
Yeah.
Now I wanna. It's been a long time since I got a message from Iceland, so I need somebody watching from Iceland to send me a message.
Cameroon.
Yeah, Cameroon. No, Cameroon. They send Cameroon, Gambia, Gabon.
Yeah.
Those.
Hey, my man.
Oh yeah.
Hey, no.
Adamaru.
Yesterday I sent a message to his wife.
Adja is the third wife.
Oh no, he's my brother. No, he's my brother. Adamaru, yeah.
You sent a message to the wife yesterday.
Yes. You know there are two wives. The other one. Yeah. And then I made a collage. The pictures we did, I sent some alhamdulillah to them. They were very happy.
Wow, fantastic.
And you know, I did this thing for them in the Ghana town.
Absolutely.
I went and spoke with the Ghana town people because the Hussein guy was saying that when he wins, all the people who are not Ghanaians, who are not Gambians.
I see.
So I told them,
positive defiance.
if you make that mistake and bring this man,
you are all coming back.
You are all coming back. Here is already true. So they sent me the
move from Ghana to go and do politics in Gambia. But that's the beauty of
Pan-Africanism. I met the guy.
No,
the way
he
spoke.
Yeah, that's
in fact, you can see that there's some hope in Africa. Even though the Gambian people are saying maybe there's a prosy from Senegal.
Let me read a few messages.
You understand? So
Raf Saliu says, brother, how can Dubai be 50 years and be well developed and we plus have nothing, absolutely,
and they only have
nothing? You will get into what you have. You have Circle Dubai. Even
Kwame,
Wilson Dabo, hey.
Kwabenya this in Pokwasi
interchange.
Pokwasi Abu Dhabi. They say this one is Dubai. Pokwasi Abu Dhabi. As soon as you just descend, no.
Traffic. It's so bad.
What's the meaning of that?
Anyway, good morning to you, Wilson Dabu. You're watching us from University of Education North Campus. Tell Haji I've missed her. Yes, Wilson Dabu. You remember Wilson Dabu?
Yeah, Wilson Dabu. Yeah.
Wilson says now he's lecturing. He doesn't like politics anymore.
Hey, Wilson.
Yes, Wilson.
I know.
Yes. When the economy.
You see, at times at times.
You
know, that's what I'm saying. Me, my Makaranta and Mox in Kwabenya. I'm going to start. I'm going back to teaching. To because I've spent on this. I'm not sure I have it in front, and I believe in the hereafter. So let's prepare ourselves.
I like that. All right. 2022 budget. Government makes concessions. No consensus yet on e-levy. Finance Minister. Daily Graph. I think we have the video. Yes. We will play that. I saw them play it when you were introducing the show.
Oh, this issue. They are getting matter for it.
I think it was on the Qatar Tidal.
Qatar Tidal. Yeah. Okay. Ghana is broke. Reject e-levy and we will go back to IMF. The insight. Truck drivers suspend strike. These are that we're going looking at now. I think it's important because the constitution, the manifesto, the driver, the captain of every economy
is the finance minister.
And his budget. Of course, we know the issues which have characterized the
commotion,
of course, of the budget. And there have been several reasons assigned to the disapproval and subsequent approval of the budget. Clearly, the conversation was around government making concessions in respect of specific elements within the budget which the opposition felt it was not going to inure to the benefit of the good people of Ghana. And therefore, government needed to, as a matter of urgency, address those matters. Of course, you know the back and forth. I don't want us to go into all of that. But let's look at the substance of the budget and going forward, what it means for us. The issue about e-levy, there's been some consensus. I mean, the Qatar defense and things like that, I think government has allocated $10 million, I believe, or $100 million.
I have an issue there.
It's been added. I don't know whether now Napo will embark on the demonstration he said he was going to embark on.
That's why we are all waiting and watching.
Oh, yes, I listened to Napo.
Yeah.
People shouldn't twist the whole thing. I have the video here.
Yes.
Actually, I think we even have it.
We have the video.
Yeah, everything is there. So people are trying to twist the whole thing.
He said that
if they put it in their budget.
Yes, but the minority, the finance minister has indicated that they're gonna they factor some money to it.
Yeah.
You know, but the statement he made, I think, was in bad taste, personally.
Oh, okay.
Because to say that minorities trying to hold you to ransom,
yeah,
because hold what they call it, demand or needs to be factored into the budget. If the finance minister down, he will also lead the people in Kumasi on a demonstration.
Because maybe they're also facing challenges.
That's what he said. Yeah, but make your demands.
Make your demands.
Make your demands. You don't have to question people's demands.
Exactly.
That's where I departed from him. Because I feel like, we all have demands.
You see me, I'll question the demand.
Right.
I'll question.
Okay. But you I'll question the demand. The finance minister has found some reason in the requests which have been made by the minority in respect of the matter in Qatar. So has found a way of incorporating that into the concessions, if you will. But the e-levy is still unattended to. And if you have taken a cursory view at all the conversations that we've been having, it appears the e-levy is the primus inter pares in all the demands, by majority of Ghanaians, particularly because of the 1.75%. Aja, are you disappointed that as at yet we have not reached any consensus relative to the levy? Are you upset that there have been some concessions made relative to the Qatar Sea defense?
You see, not upset. Wait, let me start from the beginning, from the bottom where you ended about this Keta Sea defense thing. I see the minority demand as misplaced. Why am I saying this? We're in this country. This Keta Sea defense started since George's best time. There are appropriation of monies for the Keta Sea defense to be done. Has it been done? I think it was under President Kufuor that something was done. You see? So, NDC, as a party, the way they are behaving with the Keta Sea defense is like trying to play tribal politics. That's why I see it. Because if you single out one community or a group of people who are suffering, as if the people are not suffering in this country, that is why I have a problem. That's how what about us who are suffering when the Bagre Dam is released? What arrangements have been made? Apart from not going to give our people blankets and buckets when the dam is open. Farms are lost, animals are lost, homes are lost. I never heard any MP demanding that those people's houses were washed away by the Bagre Dam. They should. That is why I'm my problem. I don't have a problem when maybe because Keta, you know, is my second town, or should I say it's my third town. I have children who comes from Anyaku. In 1996, yes, my sisters died, and we took Anyaku. We got to Anyaku. There's a bridge. It was covered by water. Anyaku. Yes. We had to take a boat.
Where is it?
It's part of a Akachia. You see, we had to be in a boat with the cops. I was like, son of his, so I said, where are we going to pass? And all the town was covered with a boat. 1996. So people didn't see that the people in that area needed help. No. That is what I'm not happy about. If we are doing something, let's do it properly. Let's look at areas that are underdeveloped, where people are suffering. When maybe if there is tiger waste, Keta around that boundary, they'll be affected. If there is Bagre Dam, people in Kwalugu, Bolga, Tamale, Gushok will all be affected. When there is flood, Mutaka, I'll mention his name, Abuabu Palele. Between Abuabu and Aswasi, there's a gutter there. When it overflows, it affects the houses around there. And a minority dread in such a way that water will not take over the houses there. Kwame, you see why I'm disappointed? Because we shouldn't do specific as if these people matter, these people don't matter. It is. We all have to benefit from the national kitty. You understand? It is not only Keta people who are suffering. I heard people saying that they are playing Evers. Napo said he doesn't like Evers, and then I said, some of our brothers, I said, please don't misquote the guy, because I've never heard Ashtown in Volta region, but there's Amloga in Ashanti region. Big place. We shouldn't bring tribal politics. As an Nkrumah, I'll frown on anybody who is going to talk about tribalism, because tribalism doesn't work. I'm from Kumbungu. My sister married in Anyaku. That's how come I know Anyaku. I have relations in Zolikope, Keta, Anyaku, Abo. If there are funerals, I go there. So if the people there are suffering, by all means, my children, fathers or mothers or relations are there to suffer. So if we're going to do something, let's do it holistically. We shouldn't just segregate the thing and think about only the side. You understand my point? That is why I'm not. But so, yes, please proceed. As Ghanaians, we should be seen as fighting for equal opportunity for everybody. That is why we say social justice. The CPP, we say social justice.
I like how you advance the argument. In comparing developments, for instance, can you compare Kumasi to the Volta region in terms of development, in terms of even access, roads, water, facilities, and things like that, can you compare the Ashanti region to the Volta region? It's incomparable because the Ashanti region is far advanced in terms of development than the Volta region. I can appreciate the argument about the fact that we should not single out Kita and say that because they have been affected by the tidal wave, their issues should surpass all other issues. However,
you see, let
to
me
the people in Kita, this is their problem. This is their problem. And government is supposed to solve problems. It doesn't matter whether it is just a fraction of the people or a section of the people.
Those who were affected by the Bagri Dam, they don't have a problem.
They should also be dealt with. That's why I'm saying that we solve pockets of issues.
That is it. But because the minority is not made up of only MPs from Volta region.
So they should make
that
their
is
requests.
my problem. You understand? The minority is not made up of only MPs from the Volta region. We should be seen as fighting for everybody. Because if it's anything at all, it's Northern region, not the stronghold of NDC. It's Upper East, not the stronghold of NDC. I'm asking. Is it not recently that Damango fell for?
MPP won a few seats there.
Where?
I'm saying that just recently that MPP won a few seats.
Upper East is one. You understand? So for me, we shouldn't do things that will bring confusion in this country. It's like animal farm, 4 legs. Which one is good and which one is bad? 2 legs good, 4 legs bad. 4 legs bad. You see, we should ask for everybody.
Yes.
We should ask for everybody.
Hadia, if you have a political party,
yes.
And sorry, because I know you don't speak for MPP, but the conversation. If you have a political party that is known to make certain statements which are very disparaging and derogatory against a particular group
of people,
then every other thing which they say, even if it was said in good faith, it would find expression in previous statements which have been made, which are derogatory and disparaging.
We condemn it.
Absolutely. So if you have a minister of state in charge of energy, so for instance, if the people made demands to Napo, and I like Napo by the way, because I sat here and I've stated that I like the guy. So the people in the Volta region say that, oh, we have electricity problems, so we need electricity to. I'm just assuming, making assumptions that people say, oh, we have electricity problems, we need electricity to be brought to our constituency. Their members of parliament make that request to the finance minister and say, finance minister, kindly put into the budget the demands of our people. Then the energy minister would say, I will not do it because also in the Ashanti region, in some villages, there are no lights. Do you think that is a fair statement to make, Hadia?
No. You see, it's two different things.
They are not two different things.
These electricity, everybody wants electricity. And every region and constituency and district are demanding for lights.
But to make a point that their stronghold in itself creates a problem for the minister in the state. No, if you say
let's be realistic. The ND's demand is misplaced.
How is
when you were in power, what did you do for the Keta people? Why do you want to play politics out of it?
Yeah, but
what did they do for the Keta people?
But the fact
that budget was allocated for Keta defense. What did they use the money for?
Yes.
What did they use the money for?
Hadia, the fact
I'm not justifying what Napo said.
But the fact that the previous
is too much.
Yeah, but the fact that the previous administration failed to do that does not mean that the people cannot make requests of this particular administration.
Which people made the request?
The people of Keta, then through the MPs.
It was not the people of Keta. It's the minority.
Because at this material moment, you see, but I get your point.
Looking at the MPs from Volta region. No.
This particular situation.
If the MPs of the Volta region demanding, I don't have a
problem. Yeah, but this particular.
But the minority.
But the request emanates.
People are representing us. You are not doing tea to us.
Hadia,
yes.
You are not doing. The request emanates.
Just sit down and be talking. When it comes to Article 71 holders, their ex-gratia, their everything, the MPs, the minority, say their gratia.
With respect, I don't want to obfuscate the matters. What I'm trying to actually say is that this particular request is born out of a tragedy which has recently occurred. Which tragedy occurred before? Absolutely. But which tragedy occurred before the budget was brought to Parliament? Their request is that there's a tragedy. First of all, the president never commented on that, and that in itself is bad.
Is it before the this thing was brought to Parliament?
Yes, before the budget was brought. That's when. Yes.
So they said they should
find a way of putting that in the budget.
That he doesn't mind money being allocated for that, but it shouldn't be put in the budget.
Yeah, but if you say somebody's stronghold, what do you mean?
How do you spend money?
Please. How do you beyond that? If you say they want their see they are holding us to ransom because they want us to solve a problem in their stronghold. How do you talk like that?
But it's not their stronghold.
It takes out. No, but it takes out. It takes out. That is why we are struggling to actually advance this argument.
Anyway, you see, for me, we are all Ghanaians. If there's any group of people in this country who needs help, that help should be sent to the people. Because in fact, when the issue happened, I was watching it on TV.
Absolutely.
In fact, I was really touched. Why? Because I was telling myself that, or asking myself, where did we go wrong? Because why did we even have to wait for this to reach this stage? You understand? That is why I don't want us to politicize the whole thing. Let's look at where there are problems in this country, and then we'll resolve it. But fine, the e-levy. The e-levy, you asked me whether
yes,
I know your take in the e-levy thing. Now we are hearing contradictory statements.
What are they saying?
Because I learned the minority leader said the government officials were able to convince him to accept
1%.
1%.
Yes, yes. I know.
Less than 30 minutes, there was a statement by the minority chief whip saying that did not happen. So you see, I have a challenge. Whatever it is, among the minority leadership, if there's a crack, then we have a problem. If there's a crack, we have a problem. You understand? Because if it's anything at all, let's do the right thing. Before we go and say anything on behalf of our people, was there any consultation?
Thank you.
Was there any consultation?
Ask them, Ajia.
Because before you come out and say something, then as a leader, you carry your people along. Because if you say something on behalf of your people and there's a backlash, then you are not fit for purpose. You cannot lead. What concessions, what kind of discussions went on in such a way that the minority leader will come and tell the good people of this country that he was convinced?
No, I watched the video.
You understand?
In fact, let's play the video.
So if it's anything at all, Prof, your party, what went wrong? Because if I see an opposition that is even confused, then I said, hey, are we safe? Because if it's anything at all, my party is not there. I'll sit here and speak on behalf of my party. We said there are other ways that government can raise revenue by not squeezing the necks of the citizens. And we had an opposition that was championing this cause that, oh, we are not going to accept. It's no, no, no. Then we hear, no, 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 but yes.
A little yes.
What is this? What is this? So look, if I had sat here last week to say that yes, what the opposition and the minority leader and this thing are doing is right, they shouldn't, and then today, can I say anything?
No.
So please, MPs should be telling us the truth. They shouldn't take Ghanaians for granted. Because what is good for the goose is good for the gander. They should be honest and sincere with us. Let me tell you, I was at one of the ministries. Then I saw MPs. So I was like, oh, we have to be careful as politicians. They had their meeting, maybe it's a committee meeting. They can come and have it at the minister's office, isn't it? Maybe if they don't have time. When I entered, I asked the minister, I said, hey, so you people, you can talk like this, and then your supporters will be on each other's necks. Then he said to me that
their backs.
His constituency, this NDC MP cannot take it. Likewise, he cannot also go to that constituency to take it. So what he is interested in is to work together for the development of Ghana.
All right.
And you'll be surprised the minister who said this.
Ajia.
You'll be surprised.
Napo? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Me, I found out things. So, because yesterday like this, there was some hot argument on Tanga political about this contract being signed, a computer. Then I said, please, if you hear something, also give the other side the opportunity only for me to be sent all those documents. I put it on the platform from 3:59 yesterday till today. Nobody has commented on that platform. It's this morning that I'm seeing some. And likewise, the deputy minister for transport going to meet the GP at it. And look at the audios that were circulating. I was so furious because that minister is a Muslim. He dare not say that because we didn't accept lesbianism, gayism, so we weren't going to get. Meanwhile, it is not true.
Absolutely.
You see, it was not true. So I sent him a message. I said, hey, is that what you're going to do? Hey, remember? They said, because he's like my nephew. Then, only for the union to send an apology letter and an audio to sort of discount that, because it was put on a Muslim platform. And they were saying, look at a Muslim. And I was like, please, let's give the minister the opportunity. Before the close of the day, I'll find out the truth of this. We are politicians, but we are Christians and Muslims, for Allah's sake.
Beautiful.
We shouldn't just be saying things because we want to win power, because we want to be seen as the finest politician. Meanwhile, we go behind and do other things. I won't do that.
Thank you, Ajaf Hamdatu, for your submission. A lot of people disagree with you on Facebook. But that's your opinion as well, because that's your opinion and that's their opinion as well. I mean, that's the beauty of democracy.
Everybody is entitled.
But we must do so. We must do so with respect and with decorum, not to, to do so in disdain and disregard.
Oh, they can do it with their opinion.
Anyway, your opinion does not require you to insult anybody. I don't like that. I don't encourage that at all on my show. Anyway, so you can leave your messages underneath the Facebook stream. For those of you who have just who are watching us on Facebook, you can share the live feed so others can get the opportunity to watch. Kindly share the feed so others can get the opportunity to watch. And also, let me say a special salutation and a belated happy birthday to my brother George Kwesi Esel, aka Chenchelenche. Yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday, brother. We love you. Right. Let me come to Bless Headman Alomaso before I come to Doc. Please.
I side with Ajia on a few issues, but on some of the points she raised, I would beg to differ. About the dam spillage, the fact that it affects the people, then it ought to have also been captured in the budget, and then MPs should also talk about that as well. I feel that wherever there's a challenge or there's a problem in the country, people who represent us in parliament, parliamentarians, lawmakers, legislators, they ought to be our voices. And I think with regards to the Keta issue, they weren't doing anything different aside that, trying to voice out the concerns of the people of Keta. I'll speak as somebody who comes from that place. For all you know, if I'm from Keta and I say, look, there's been this tidal wave issues, my properties have been washed away, I don't have a home now. I'm speaking as an ordinary Ghanaian. The political nuances of my statement, I don't know about that. I don't know whether this is a stronghold of the National Democratic Congress. And I feel that the Honorable Energy Minister's comments, to some extent, is one that does not help national cohesion. I'm saying that because if the people of Keta are making their concerns, are raising their concerns, like you earlier intimated, the people of Kumasi could also say, look, we are also having so and so challenges. So it's different issues altogether. You understand it? I don't think it is wrong if people from various constituencies or from various parts of our country raise concerns about happenings in their communities with regards to the Keta tidal waves. Over 3,000 people were displaced as a result, which is quite
significant.
You understand? And the president went mum on it. He never spoke about it, and the budget never sought to address that issue as well. So I think the minority MPs talking about it, I thought bode well for the people of Keta. If NAPO had any concerns about happenings in Ashanti region, I think it raised the issue of flooding. Flooding is pervasive here in Accra as well. We've spoken about it, on innumerable occasions. So I feel that if he had any problem with it too, he could have just said, look, the people of Kumasi are also facing these challenges. I'd want the government to address it. But to try and say that because it is the stronghold of the National Democratic Congress, that is a statement that politicizes the whole situation in the first place. Then it means that you are trying to politicize the whole situation. I heard the finance minister speak yesterday. I followed his address, I think he spoke with the information minister, and they talked about the fact that they hadn't reached a consensus on the e-levy. But as an ordinary Ghanaian, I thought the budget was passed. I thought the budget was passed. So if the budget was passed, then why did they feel that, okay, this and so and so and so and so and so raised by the minority ought to be addressed? Because if they truly felt that, look, we had undone what happened last Friday and then now it has been passed, then why do you come back to? I think they understand, they know that the Ghanaian people have serious concerns. And I'm not holding brief for the minority again, but I feel that they've talked about other things in the budget that do not necessarily concern only the people of Keta. Let's talk about the e-levy. The e-levy does not care whether you are NPP or you are NDC.
It affects everybody.
It affects all of us. The Aka Energy deal, the Japan royalties deal, and all of these.
I don't know the fuss about this Japan deal. I'm struggling to appreciate why the need for government to continue to push that through
down our throats.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I don't know. I'm thinking about, I don't know what the interests are, really. You know.
So for me, the minority in parliament have raised cogent concerns about all of these things captured in the budget there. I think they haven't spoken ill about the Youth Start program, which I believe we all agree is good. If some 10 billion Ghana cedis will be earmarked in order to show up our gains as far as youth unemployment is concerned, I think it bodes well for all of us. And then they haven't made any consensus to that regard, which is good in the first place. So the minority, they have talked about the Aka Energy deal, the Japan royalties deal, and the e-levy. I understand the e-levy is to be reduced by some 0.25%, which in my estimation is insignificant. It is infinitesimal. The Ghanaian people don't want it. I think our collective voice as Ghanaians is that with this e-levy thing, we don't, not even 1%, not even 0.01% would suffice for the ordinary Ghanaian. They have said time and again that they are the best managers of the economy. They were going to move the economy from taxation to production. So we thought that in 5 years by now, would have gotten to a point, even if they are taxed us in the beginning, and then by now we realize that we are moving, or we have moved from the taxation to production as they promised. Then we know that we are on the right tangent. But to come out and tell us that, if you read from the Daily Graphic, the finance minister is saying that the best way, the best, which means that they have looked at all other avenues of of taking taxes from the ordinary Ghanaian, and they felt that the best way to tax us is from the e-levy.
Perish the thought, but is it the best or the easiest?
They are saying
it appears that it's the easiest. I mean, if it was the best,
can't you see that those who are fighting for this e-level for us are divided?
Yeah, if it was the best, I don't think that the finance.
All what I said, they didn't hear that one.
I don't think that the vice president, who claims to be the doyen of economics, would have advanced the argument he did when he was interviewed on, I think, Okroko or so on Peace FM, where he opined unequivocally that to tax
the ordinary
Momo would mean to tax the ordinary Ghanaian.
Exactly.
And which is what they intend not to do.
Not to do.
So it begs the question as to whether or not they lack the idea to internally generate revenue. I am for internally generated revenues if it will, lead to some level of development. I don't know. Sometimes when I say this, I feel bad and things, but I don't mind paying taxes, right? I don't mind paying 1%. I really don't mind paying 1%, even though it's expensive. We all are involved in one transaction or the other. I agree. But to say that we won't agree at all, for me, is also a problem, because whether we like it or not, we are broke. Now, if we are not careful, the next government will suffer. And like Ojo Oponkroma is rightly indicating, we might go back to the IMF. Right? And we might go back to the IMF with conditionalities. So it is a matter of either to eat your chicken before they are hatched, or to either sink in the deep blue sea, or to try and swim ashore where you cannot even navigate your way around. So that is the delicate situation in which we find ourselves. So should we say that no, like zero to E11? Let's be realistic. Let's face it. We've gotten to a point where all economies are finding ways of survival. We are all breathing. So let's face it. If it is too much, we should say that, oh, okay, it's a lot. Let's start. We can actually decide that we will start with 0.5%. Are you following me? Let's start with 0.5. Then we'll move on to maybe 6%, 0.6. Then move on to, so eventually we'll peg it at 1%. But it should be gradual so that Ghanaian people don't really feel it. So these are some of the issue, the angles from where I look at the issue.
Kwame, sorry, bless. You see, Kwame.
I'll come to you.
What I was
I got you.
You are not.
No, that is what I was trying to see.
I'm doing it very well. Don't worry.
I'm not saying the Qatar.
I'll give you all the time.
Listen,
wait,
no. You see, please.
Okay.
You see, I didn't say the Qatar thing is not important too. But you see, now we are hammering on the Qatar thing. That's a section of the
problem.
A section of Ghanaians, a group of people, and we are forgetting the E-level, E-levy. Yeah. That is will affect the whole. That is where NDC should be smart. You understand my point?
Okay.
Now we are so leaving the E-levy thing and then saying Qatar. Before you realize.
But Qatar is also important. Before you realize, you pass it. Let's proceed.
Yes. And you, as you rightly mentioned, somewhere last year, the should I say economic measure, our vice president, His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia, he was on a radio station and he said that introducing Momo tax would not be good for the ordinary Ghanaian, because most of the people who transact businesses with the with mobile money are very poor people, and taxing them isn't right. I feel that most of us don't appreciate how huge that 1.75% or 1.5% is, simply because perhaps you do not make transactions in the millions and
banks.
Because if I'm a businessman, for instance, I live in Kumasi, I'd have to send 1 million Ghana cedi to a client here in Accra. Then it means that for 1 million Ghana cedi, around 17,500 Ghana cedi will be charged as e-levy.
Minus the bank transfer.
17,500 Ghana cedi as e-levy. And there are most people in Ghana here who do not even have their 17,500 Ghana cedi. Meanwhile, if I decide that I'm going to come to Accra by air, in and out, spend roughly, it wouldn't cost me even a quarter of that.
You just call the person, meet me at the airport at this time.
Exactly.
You will book your flight.
Exactly.
That.
Exactly.
So you will spend 10 minutes in Accra.
Exactly.
Papa, you are gone.
Exactly. And mind you, it's not only about mobile money. People who live abroad and go and work their asses off and have to send money to their relatives here in Ghana would have to pay that 1.75% as well.
I get your argument.
You understand.
Point is, and I'm coming to you, Doc.
The profit should be taxed.
Well, but point is, don't you think, finally, before I come to that, don't you think that at some point, I think Ghanaians were overpampered. I don't know.
Are we overpampered? No, but I understand the part where you said that
perhaps this is our reality.
Yes, this is our reality.
This is our reality.
But these are the same people. They knew this reality,
yeah,
and they came to tell the ordinary Ghanaian that we are going to ensure that we don't even take taxes at all. We are going to move from taxation to production. So as an ordinary Ghanaian, I can only hold you accountable to that.
Absolutely, we can. But also then, in production, you need money. So how do you expect them to generate money to be able to?
They haven't been able to do that in 5 years.
You never know. Maybe the 5 years they were laying the plans. Let me come to you, Doc, on this subject matter, please.
It's not easy.
I've seen you've made lecture notes. You want to lecture us this morning, but please proceed on these matters.
Yeah, I will start by saying that the comment made by the Minister of Energy is an unfortunate comment, and it's a comment that everybody or every Ghanaian should condemn. That is a comment, in my opinion, I also think that it's a security threat comment, because you are pitching one tribe against the other. You see, the minister did not say, I will lead even my constituents, or I will lead members of my constituency to demonstrate. But I say Ashanti region. But right here we are talking about Keta and Anglo and then Ketu South. And you are talking about Ashanti region. So he's leading a demonstration against voter rigging. In my opinion, that's how he's leading it, which I think that it's unfortunate, it's condemnable, and I think that we should not support such statement. You know, Hajia made comments like, why would the minority, you know, say they will not approve the budget until they should consider the sea defense in the budget before they will consider it. That is not the point. The point is that there are a lot of problems in the country. Yes, we all acknowledge that. Just as you go to hospital, all the people that go there are patients. But nevertheless, when emergency situation comes or when emergency occurs, the doctor still asks permission or tell his client that there is an emergency and he has to attend to it. So of course we are all sick, but there are some sickness, we refer to them as emergency cases. So the same with this issue of Keta Sea defense or Keta Tadawave. Of course we acknowledge that flooding has been a challenge these days in Kumasi. Of course Bagri Dam spillage is something that occurs almost every year. But nevertheless, what happened recently in Ketu South and other constituencies around the coast is more or less a national disaster or something that is beyond what we see ordinarily. And we should bear in mind that that is the third time this thing happened just this year alone. So for you to say that it looks like the minority is asking for this because that is their stronghold, it's unfortunate. And I think that it is not right. Remember, these people are also Ghanaians. They were people in Ketu South, in Anglo, that voted for NPP. So even if it were, I mean, if it were two people that voted, that's still added to the total vote count for the NPP. So for him to say that, I think it is not right. We've heard of comments that seems to pitch others against the Ashantis. And I think that this should not be encouraged. This should not be encouraged because that is tribal politics. And that in itself is a national security threat. And I was just wondering, you know, just recently they arrested Captain Smart because they say he made comment that bordered on national security. Listen. And then you ask this one, what the minister said, isn't it also a national security threat? Has the IGP heard that comment? Well, we leave Ghanaians to judge. When we are doing selective justice, I think this is not right. So I think going forward, I condemn that and I call on well-meaning Ghanaians, the Christian Council, the Peace Council, the Imam, they should all come out and speak to this issue, and I think that we should not encourage that. We are all Ghanaians and we all deserve good life. We all deserve what is right. Now coming to the E-levy. I will say that 2022 budget, we all acknowledge that it's a killer budget. It's a budget that is more like a funeral announcement, a state funeral announcement. A woody. You see, they say as an honest person, you do not vomit and go back to lick your vomit. We were here when our vice president, on the 30th of October 2022, he shared his opinion that he does not think that Momo should be taxed because they are ordinary Ghanaian poor people that engage in such transactions. So no, in his opinion, that should not be the case. 2020, October, just barely a year, you make a U-turn. And you know, the funny and the surprising thing is that before the announcement of this budget, or before the budget was read, I think just about some 2 weeks or so, or is it a week, he had a lecture at Ashasi University, and how he adored the digitalization, how he praised it, how he made it look as if it was going to be the messiah to turn our economy around. And after saying that, few days later, you come to tell us that if you transfer money using Momo, you are to be charged 1.75.
Yeah.
Remember, there's already 1% tax. So already you are paying 2.75 on any transaction using Momo or electronic medium. So what have you done as a person? Can we take them seriously? So for me, that is a worry. Why would a government that promised the good people of Ghana that they were going to move from taxation to production now seems to impose taxes and see, e-levy as an easy way of generating funds? Look at drivers yesterday had to go on strike. This is the government that I remember 2016, how they lambasted NTC administration at that time. Because at that time they felt the price of fuel was too much. So you ask yourself, what has changed? We thought they said when they come they were going to reduce the price of fuel. What has changed? My brother, sometimes, yes, people say we need the revenue to carry out developmental projects. But you look at the leakage. That's the point I just want to come to. The leakage. Now it's coming out that for the e-levy, they are going in for a private company to collect the e-levy.
Oh, that's a lie.
And they have allocated 242 million for that.
Oh no, then I've changed my mind.
So what do you say? Can't the Bank of Ghana, let's assume, and not admitting that this
how do the mobile money services, how do they take their monies? This is a central system.
Why can't even the Bank of Ghana even do that? Let's assume that is going to happen.
That you pay automatically, there's an account sitting at Bank of Ghana. It automatically goes. There's a platform.
My brother,
the transactions.
You see?
Oh, what is this?
That one there to not happen.
And then they will pay percentage. You see what they will now come and tell us, that they will pay a percentage of the transaction to the private. Oh my goodness.
My brother, people always want to make in every situation, everything that happens in this country, there are people that benefit from. Look at Ejapa. There are people so close to the president that were benefiting from Ejapa. This company, who are the faces behind this company? You ask yourself. Ghana goes borrowing. Ghana goes to what's the name?
IMF.
No, they go to sell bonds. Euro bonds. There are some individuals that benefit from even the bond.
They benefit more than you think.
They don't know where.
So why would they go?
The way he raised the money. 4%.
So why would they go to collect more money on credit? So honestly,
this is unbelievable.
Sometimes the money that is collected as revenue, how it's used,
is what
when you look at
people.
it's so annoying, it's so disheartening, and you just can't sit back and think that all is well. Why would you want to engage a private company to collect the e-tax? Why can't Bank of Ghana do that?
Be smart.
Just recently, I'm even hearing that property tax,
Yes, of course,
property tax will soon not be done by the local assembly, but a private company is going to collect that tax. So you ask yourself, why would leaders want to benefit from every situation, things that impoverish, things that bring a lot of hardship to the ordinary Ghanaian? Why would they want to make wealth out of it?
It's about generational wealth.
Who are the faces behind this company? So honestly, I think
if they pass it, I'll stop using Momo.
the fact that yes, we need money,
Yeah, if they
but we
if they
have
pass
to
it
also look at the wholes.
Yeah.
Why would, for example, a government?
Somebody said I should bring your mind to something. That's the same thing they are doing at the airport. The airport is also being managed by a private company.
So you see, why can't, for example, these COVID, I've forgotten the company, COVID test at the airport.
Yes.
Why can't Noguchi?
I've forgotten their name.
Why can't Noguchi carry out that?
Even one is ambulance.
Or that way.
They put you in the ambulance.
Just because some individuals are benefiting from such situation. So of
People
course,
don't know that
we need money
Sure.
to enable the country to run. But that does not mean that you
Squeeze our neck.
suffocate Ghanaians. You
Okay.
squeeze our net.
All right.
And look, one thing I want to also point again, just going
Please,
back
go
to
ahead,
what
go ahead.
Napo said. You see, I remember when George Floyd was
Right.
murdered. We all condemned it. We all, expressed our condolence and our disgust. And our president did likewise. He tweeted, you are in your own country, your own people, being carried away by flood, a natural disaster, and nothing, no word. There are times, yes, you may be poor, you may not have money, somebody may be in need, but sometimes just your words of encouragement can bring so much relief without you physically giving the person something.
That's very true.
But we have our president, nothing. He hasn't heard. His minister have informed him. In fact, our president does not watch news, so he doesn't even know what is happening. And here we have a minister of state saying that if you approve the demand to include a budget for sea defense, I will lead a whole region to demonstrate. If this is not a national threat or security threat, what else can we say it is? It's unfortunate, and I think we should all condemn it. But yes, the discussion continue unabated, and in our opinion, we think that e-levy is still a no.
Okay.
Government should consider a number of government should consider a number of measures. One, we should be talking about cutting down on our expenditure. Two, the amount of money that is going to the presidency, we need to look at it.
It's too much.
We need to look at it. Again, the size of government, we need to look at it. These are things that we should do as a country we need to also be disciplined as far as our finance is concerned. How can we say that, yes, we agree, let's pay more tax, when we have our president living such a royal lifestyle?
But he's a royal.
If he's a royal, then he should be funded by the royal budget. No, you see, they said, let's not even go there. If you have your own money and you want to spend it however you want, you are free to do that. I don't think there is any constitution or any law somewhere preventing people from living good life or luxurious life. But not when the poor woman in the village there, the poor woman sitting at her corner, you come and tax her, and then after collecting the money, you tell yourself that the presidential jet that we have is not good enough for you. You want a private jet. You want to sleep in a queen size or king size bed. You want to have a very big dining in the air, you want to have shower in the
He's
air.
the president of the Republic of Ghana.
So, Mr. President, how would you explain this to a cocoa farmer whose road is totally cut off from the rest of Ghana? How would Mr. President explain to a farmer who cannot afford 3 square meals in a day? How would Mr. President explain why Ghanaians should endorse he taking a private jet when we are sick and we can't afford our medical bills?
You see,
so look, we need to face reality. Things are hard in this country. This issue of telling girl to even reduce fuel, it's a no area. I don't support that idea. Not because I'm not supporting a reduction in fuel, but then the procedure. You have a government taxing a product that the taxation is 40% of that product. And then you turn and say, okay, I will reduce it by 19%. What about the others?
19 pesos.
19 pesos, sorry. What about the others? It is not only gold that is in the market. What kind of interim? And look, Ghanaians should not celebrate this. We've had this government giving us something with the right and collecting it. Collecting it from the left. Look, COVID fund is a typical example. Let's look at
what's happened to that fund, cry.
The government said he was giving us free electricity. And then water. How many months was that? Now, because of that, you have to pay 1%.
That's what my catcher say. MPP, they are smart.
So you give us something with your right, and I take it back with your left.
Anyway.
So look, truck drivers, you need to open your eyes. And in fact, I want to say that this 19 or 15 pesos reduction, we should not be excited. Let's push for a reduction. That 40% tax component on fuel should be looked at. And I think that as a country that produces oil, we should not be struggling to fuel our vehicles.
Absolutely.
And I think that if government makes money, government should cut down on its size. We should be disciplined with our expenditure. We should also look at exactly. And this lavish spending, we need to look at it.
But you are going to
please, this privatization, big men behind companies and asking them to collect our taxes. I think we should look at these things critically.
Okay.
People should not benefit from our hardship.
Doc is obviously not smiling this morning with her submissions, and clearly I did not know that there was a private company behind the collection of the e-levy. I wouldn't have even suggested the 1% because I don't want anybody to benefit at the detriment of the suffering Ghanaian masses. It cannot happen, particularly when we have seen a number of companies being set up just a month or so prior to the introduction of a particular policy. They will be used to make the money, and after that they will be dissolved. Yes, madam. Absolutely.
They're not.
Yeah.
But we are against empowering private sector to milk us.
And I
understand? Listen.
I think now it's not on me.
You see, there's a platform for these telecos. That's how come the government knows exactly what is coming in and going out, the profit they are making. So that's why I was saying that why don't you tax that profit that they are making, because it's very huge. That's why the government wants to bring this e-levy and tax us. Now, if you're talking about a private sector, there's no private sector in the world whose ultimate goal is not to make profit. Be it schools, be it road. How can road tolls be taken over by private sector and they pay about 30% to the government? Is the government who is supposed to fix the road? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't add up at all. It doesn't add up.
Nothing in this country makes sense.
So you see, if we have now seen, and I think the minister confirmed it yesterday, that they are contracting a private person to tell you, me, the other one there. It doesn't sit well with me because I think the Ministry of Communication are capable of doing that.
It doesn't.
With the NCA or something, they can do that.
What do they have?
We don't want any private person to come and give us like what is happening at the airport.
No,
the COVID thing.
Yeah.
What percentage is going to
do they have KPIs? These ministries. I think we should run ministries as companies. But Adia, the point that you just made has averted my mind to a statement which was made by President Akufo-Addo when he assumed power the first time. He said, people think that you are coming to make money in my government. If you want to make government, go to the private sector.
Yeah.
So now the idea is that
giving to the private
the
sector,
idea is that set up a private company. We will make sure that we create policies, bring you the business, you make the money, get your percentage, and then we benefit. I think that's what it is.
There's a face behind the company.
That is what I'm saying.
So the owners of the company.
Kwame, this money we are accruing, where are we taking it to?
That is the question.
No, but once they are living, now that they are living, they have to enjoy life. Hey, Adia.
Yeah, but
what is this? You see, people. Let me tell you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Ghanaians are not ready to pay to develop their country.
Of course.
But because we don't show modesty in our doings,
let me
in
make
our
this
dealings,
point. Let me make this
in
point.
our spending.
Let me make
Let's
this
be
point.
realistic, fa.
You see, I think we should get to a point where this political duopoly and the seeming acquiesced attitude of Ghanaians in respect of our voting patterns must change.
MPP, NDC,
it's always
MPP,
acquiesced.
NDC,
NDC, MPP, NDC. You see, so the politicians would never take us.
Come 8 years,
the politicians would never take us seriously. You know why? Because they know that no matter what, after 8 years, I'm coming.
Yes.
Yeah, but you see, my brother.
We must move away from that.
You should not also equate MPP to NDC.
No, I am saying that. No, I am saying that. No, why did they? No, but the point is that
these people have bought 221
I get your argument. I get your argument. But the Ghanaian people believed the story which was told by the NPP, which is why you were kicked out of power.
It is, yeah,
which is why we had to, you see.
So there are times it is good to have two things to compare.
Don't think that your party is immune to some of these things which are happening now. You are not. And I hate that thing. The reason why NDC was sacked out of power was because of a number of things which they did, which the people did not like. And NPP capitalized on that. Yeah, but Danso was not a propaganda. It was clear. We saw it. We lived it. We felt it.
Who were the people who solved Danso? Ask this government how many
yes, I am not in this. Nobody's in disagreement. Yes, it's about the impact.
Yes, that was a problem, and the NDC government at that time was bent on solving the problem, and they did solve it.
Absolutely.
This government, what have they done? Nothing.
Exactly.
Now look at what's happening.
So now I'm saying that the Ghanaian people will change MPP. What's the alternative again? Exactly. That's the point I'm making. And I'm saying that until we change our minds, until we begin to move away from this, we will not see real development. Like Adia is saying, Ghanaians will wish to pay for taxes knowing that the taxes will bring them development.
My brother, NDC did bring a lot of
but somebody in NPP will disagree with you.
Look at the e-blocks. Let's look at the education sector.
Let me come to you.
Look at the health sector. What are these people? They said they were going to do, they were having agenda 111. Yeah. Where is it?
Absolutely.
Look at
is your
look at University of Ghana Medical Center.
You see,
look at Rich Hospital.
I get your point, but I'm saying that what you define as development, right, may not to the average Ghanaian necessarily be development. You see, especially when for the average Ghanaian, what they want is money in their pockets. So if they see all this infrastructure, you are doing nothing for them. And I think that we have to have.
You see, how much was the CD to $1? 2016.
No, yours was far better. far better.
How much was the price
now,
of fuel?
Now we know better.
Compared today.
Now
how much was this Olonka of beans?
But Ghanaians at the time they disagreed with you.
That's it was 14 cities. Today, as we are talking, it is 75 cities.
Proper representation.
That's all in Parliament, and we are good.
This
business
did a lot of propaganda. Now reality have done on them.
NDC,
our vice president is now running away from the economy and is not going to
this morning your blood is hot, bro.
Yes, wow. We have allowed
conference are you going to? Because I'll come and support.
We'll get a bit for it. Which conference did you greet this morning?
Women empowerment.
Central Tone.
So she's going Central Tone.
Which one is Central? Adidome.
Let me read a few messages here. S. Gracia is naked. Robert of the Ordinary Man. Hey. Naked robbery, you mean, of the ordinary man? Do you know all Ghana's financial transactions are issued by Kenofratas Insurance Company? Insured by Kenofratas Insurance Company. The question is, will MPP allow President Mahama? Glover Henry says, KOD, say it loud. They are very smart and criminal. I didn't add a criminal. You added a criminal. Otainia Etia, you go, Doc Benedicta, tell it like that. Maria Adam says the same thing they are doing at the airport. Maria again says NDC and NPP can never be the same. NDC is far better. Ghana is broke. Reject e-levy and we'll go back to IMF. So all this your talks, all this your won't accept. Could your Punkman is telling you Hajam that this morning that you are doing too low. That if you don't accept this e-levy, we'll go to IMF. It's a threat. They are threatening you. Hadia, you have been threatened this morning. Your very existence is threatened.
You're afraid.
Hadia, you have been threatened. What do you have to say?
But even in my last week I said if I had sat here to stick my neck out for the minority in parliament, I would have been embarrassed.
Yes,
why? Because the CPP has come out with its position concerning the budget. We've looked at all the aspects of the budget. Our economic team, Senior Comrade Heneku, Senior Nano Odro-Kwarteng, the General Secretary, the youth wing of the party, all the group of the party, made an input based on the manifesto of the party and the ideals of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The input that was made in the response of the Convention People's Party was based on our manifesto in 2016 and 2020. So when the opposition said no to the e-levy, I think that's the position of my party before even NDC started the agitations in Parliament. Why? Because we realize how it's going to affect the ordinary Ghanaian. But it's sad that at the weekend we read I'm for 1%, and then about 30 minutes we are not for 1%. Then you ask yourself, those political parties who have no representation in Parliament, what can we say?
That's the thing.
What can we say? Because even if we are not in Parliament, I'm sure it's about Ghana. It's about the development of this country. And Kwame, I said, people have no problem in helping the government, for government machinery, for development to happen in this country. Because look at our rules, horrible rules. But because politicians, we don't show modesty in our behavior, that is why people think even if they pay 0.something%, it will rather make it possible for some people to live a luxurious life, but not to improve the lot of Ghanaians. So if the minister is telling us that without the e-levy, we are going back to IMF, then Ghanaians, are we going to, you see, that's why they say they are smart too. Now you see what they are putting out there. Now we are confused. Hey, we don't want IMF, because IMF, the loans that we have already contracted, and if you see the multinationals pressing the country, hey, look beyond what they are telling the leadership of that country. We're in this country. President Kufuor was praised. At the tail end of the lesson, there were some challenges. President Mills, may he so rest in peace. President Mahama, the same thing. Darling boys of the IMF and World Bank. And if it's getting to certain things, depending on whom they want to be in power, then they start painting the one they don't like black. Meanwhile, it is all loans that we are going for. So, fellow Ghanaians, we have to ask ourselves, are we ready for the e-levy so that we don't go to IMF? Or we shouldn't go for the e-levy and go for the IMF? Because we don't know what is going on. The opposition that are supposed to hold the distance so that we will also know. Now the front is like this. Ayeke. 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 Didn't you listen to the two people? And I found it very weird. Because let's even assume without admitting, the leadership, the minority leader said something. Quickly, the minority should have called an emergency this time to look at the way they can come out. Just like the GPRT yesterday. Do you know some of the people did not even know that there's this thing?
No, they knew, but their leadership told them not to.
Look at voter region. I was surprised. The secretary said, oh no, they are working. Because people will go to work, people will go to hospital, and so they didn't have any communique from their leadership. So even that place too. Why is it that leadership are always divided? Leadership are always divided. Anyway. So the citizenry doesn't really know whom to trust.
I agree with you. You don't know who to trust.
Your worst enemy.
Be your best friend.
Bless, let me come to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me take it from where Ajia ended about the seeming disagreement, even within the minority, over whether or not to accept the 1.75 or 1.5% e-levy. I think the e-levy is what necessitated that imbroglio in Parliament, where there was this ruckus between the minority and then the majority. And it's not even only about the minority in Parliament. It's not even a case of the minority in Parliament not wanting the e-levy. I think the good people of Ghana, every for the want of a better word, right-thinking Ghanaian would know that the e-levy is not a good thing for us. But this is where they are leaving us a choice between the deep blue sea and then the devil, whether or not to go for the e-levy or further compound our woes as far as loans are concerned and then go to IMF. But, you know, in my earlier submission, I asked the question, are these not the people, the same people who said they were the better managers of the, of the economy? Are these not the same people who said that they were going to move the country from taxation to production? Didn't they know that all of these things could happen before they came to, you know, sugarcoat those words for Ghanaians and say, look, we are going to do this? And I think within the first 100 days of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's reign, the vice president came out with a tall list of achievements, 100 days, achievements. So if you've been able to achieve that in 100 days, why should we still be underachieving in 5 years? Which is a good question to, to the best of my knowledge. So the IMF, whether IMF or the e-levy, I think Ghanaians don't want either. So they should just find a way of solving the situation.
Thank you. Doc.
Yeah, I want to say that the statement by the Minister of Information, I think is just a statement to win the heart of Ghanaians, to support this killer.
With a threat?
This killer tax. That, well, if you say we should not collect e-levy, then we are going to IMF. Or we either collect the tax or go to IMF. Look, this budget in itself is problematic. The first budget delayed. When you look at it, the total revenue, their total everything, including the grants, they were expecting to collect 105 billion Ghana cedis. And when you look at the three items, that's the interest on loan, wages, amortization, statutory payment, when you put all that, it's 107.9 billion. So already there's a shortfall. A shortfall of 7.4 billion. So even with the e-levy that they said they were expecting 7 billion to generate 7 billion, and they have added it to what they intend to generate as revenue, there's already a deficit. So the issue of, oh, if we don't collect e-levy, we'll go to IMF, there's already a problem. And we have this government spending more than they've always budgeted for. So you can be sure that even the expenditure that they intend to spend 105 billion on, at the end of the day, it will far exceed, or it will exceed that amount. Of course, previously they have done that. And this budget is no exception. So the Minister of Communication should not try to win the hearts of Ghanaians by saying that if we don't collect e-levy, we'll go to IMF. What he should be telling us that we will reduce our expenditure. We will seal the leakages. That basket that we are using to fetch water, we will stop using baskets to fetch water, and we will use a container that has a seal bottom. We would support the yes, basin. I mean basin or any or bucket. We will support institutions and CSOs that are fighting or help fight corruption. We will shine our eyes and sack ministers that want to use their position to enrich themselves. That is what we want to hear from the minister. So he should be telling us that henceforth we are going to be very considerate. Henceforth, that private jet renting will stop. The minister should tell us that they are going to stop this expenditure that looks like loot and share. He should tell us that they are going to use the tax they've collected in a way that will benefit everybody and not just a few. So I will say that, well, for me, that statement, it's just a political statement. And we should not take that as a way of sympathizing with a government that, you know, we have people living very good life, people who, you know, somebody like me have never had the privilege of seeing how a presidential jet, the inside look like, and then we have somebody who tells us that that presidential jet is not good enough for him to use. He needs a private jet, and that private jet, he will even not go for a moderate price one, but the most expensive jet. So the minister should be telling us that. The minister should be telling us that they will want to look at these tax exemption policies that they've been granting foreign companies. They want to look at that. The minister should tell us that the port, the leakage at the port there, they will want to really focus on the port and seal all the leakages at the port. The minister should tell us that the Galamsey, that people who are supposed to fight the people who are destroying our environment are people who have gone behind. The poor men, women, and the youth who are using cutlass, hoe, and shovel to dig the earth to find gold. They are sacking them, and they are allowing people bringing excavators, bulldozers to rather destroy our land. They should be telling us something about how they are going to solve that problem.
Doc.
But not to look for our sympathy as far as the e-levy is concerned.
Thank you very much, Doc. This morning your blood has been very hot, but it's been good. Aja,
I would do, if I don't do this, I'll do a disservice to some.
And then we have just confused against my time.
Yes, there's this guys I met at the station when I was going to drop my brother.
Oh, okay.
So that was about a month ago. They all rushed to their car. I was like, what is happening? So they said they were coming to greet me. And I said, why? That they've been watching Pan-African. They've been there about 4, that they teach around the Daboya enclave.
I see.
So if they're watching this morning, I say a very good morning to them. Because, in fact, Doc, the this seat you have taken, it's a prophecy. I'm telling you today. You see, this is a station that really gives equal opportunity to all political parties, especially women. And women have sat in this chair and they have won seats in Parliament. I'm speaking to you because the voter regime, I don't know when we can get a seat there.
So we are giving you the seat.
So that seat,
Yes.
you are looking
Central
for.
tongue, you are going.
Go.
It is done.
And I will do it.
Signed and approved.
Because that is your stronghold.
Sure.
If your people will allow you, because we have MPs in Parliament who have not spoken for 8 years. they're not saying anything.
And I'm still there.
And they're still there.
They're still there, yes.
We need people, we need women. That is why I mean, Ghani, 2024, they will go.
Thank you, Ajia.
Hey,
We are
Ajia.
together. Thank you, Ajia.
We will go to Parliament and make that change.
Thank you.
Because leadership will say this today,
and then they will change their
they will
mind.
change again.
Anyway,
Divided.
let me also.
You said
let
you're
me-
watching my national youth organizer.
Right,
Yeah,
he's watching. All right, fantastic.
He's warning me.
Good morning to him.
How are you?
And
It's a long time.
to our viewers also in Abri, I think over the weekend I was in Abri, and I was really pretty, not shocked but excited. I mean, the people watch me in Abri a lot. But when I was eating fufu, I was getting fans. I was getting fans for eating fufu in Abri. So, well, actually not in Abri, Mampong. So yeah, Abri Mampong is the same thing. So yeah, I'll be coming there quite often to eat that very fufu. No, I didn't eat. I thought that day I ate Banku. Mampong, yeah, Mampong. Yes, Mampong. Mampong.
When you are going.
When you are going, so the bypass, yeah, it's on the right. It's on the right.
There used to be some man be there.
Some man be down on the
Yeah,
left, yes.
yeah.
Them one coin.
Very long time.
How do you know the place? You know the place.
And then the voter region too. Do you know when you get to Sokode?
Soko there.
Sokode. On the left, there's some
Then now
people
I have to check it. When I'm going to the voter, I'll check.
And in this region, there's some junction be
Yeah.
There's fufu.
Yeah. I mean, and
if you get to Crowfoam, there's a whole house.
Once upon a time, when Adongo was my best friend.
Oh,
we're
no,
going-
it's not your boyfriend. Girlfriend.
No, I don't even hear from him.
Oh, you don't hear from him. He's hot.
Let me show you a place.
Under the hills of Kwautu.
No. This one on our way to Kumasi, there's this
But now
cocoa
stop
farm.
all that, too, because-
Aja, there's this cocoa farm, It's inside somewhere. I don't go to me there. When I finished this, I said, well, I'm not going again. Tell him the food nice.
On the Kumasi Road.
On the Kumasi Road.
Yeah.
It's on your left. Some cocoa. I see me. Hey, Charlie. Places day.
Places day.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.